How interconnected are the transportation system in the state and increasing the number of businesses? I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Local Edition. With me this hour is New Jersey State Senator Jeff Van Drew of the 1st Legislative District. Thanks so much for being with us.
It's great to be with you, Jill.
When we talk about that concept of improving transportation, whether it be in our vehicles or public transportation, and actually drawing or attracting businesses to the state, how much do they go hand in hand?
Of course they do. I mean, you've got to be able to move people where they need to be, and we do have to connect better, most especially in our region. You know, a good chunk of South Jersey doesn't have the greatest, as we all know, transportation availability. So when we see things like the PATCO line and more happening with that and connecting with Atlantic City and all the tourism that exists in Atlantic City and Cape May County, that's a good thing, and that creates more of that flow and that interconnection that we need.
Throughout South Jersey, tourism is either the number one, number two, in some areas number three in terms of the overall economy. But let's talk a little bit about what happens beyond tourism.
Right.
What happens next in terms of attracting businesses? I'm going to first start with the FAA.
Yep, it's obviously wonderful. I mean, NextGen, what they're speaking about there, you know, our whole system of controlling air traffic is going to change in the future, and you liken it a little bit to GPS, Global Positioning System, how it's going to change as opposed to the traditional radar and the systems that we had. And I'm by no means an expert, but what I do know is since we are changing the systems and every airline's going to be using it and every airport's eventually going to be changing as well, let's make sure we're doing that here in South Jersey, that we're the ones setting the trend. This is where the technology is coming from. So it was so wonderful to see that announcement from federal, state, county, and local government all working together to make that happen. Or solar panels. You know, that was another good announcement. We've had a couple good announcements in the last few recent times, and another announcement was that we're going to actually be building, finally, our own solar panels in the United States of America, right here in South Jersey in the city of Millville. We should be doing this.
Okay, and those are some of the businesses that are already coming into the area or working to expand in the area, but I want to talk about transportation and its impact. 55 was a project that was underway and never quite finished in terms of the overall goals for this project years ago. Where do we stand now with 55 in terms of potentially expanding it?
Well, we really need to look at this. You know, there was supposed to be, going back to the original legislation, there were going to be two expressways in South Jersey, the Atlantic City Expressway and the Cape May Expressway. And as we all know, the Atlantic City Expressway was built, very successful, obviously created that connection. The Cape May Expressway never really quite happened. It happened in pieces, and part of it is Route 55 that was built. And as everyone knows, in the area of Morris River Township, you know, Route 55 just dumps into a little country road known as Route 47. Traffic accidents, traffic jams, terrible problems, terrible issues for the residents that live there because of all the traffic and the backup and the lack of safety, the air pollution that's created by all the traffic being backed up. So we really need to look at this. And the challenge is that it is some of the most environmentally sensitive areas in the world as you go over to the Cape May County to actually make that final connection. Again, we can overcome that. They've built raised, elevated highways in other parts of the country and other parts of the world to be very sensitive to the environment, not to do that damage. And the good news is that the South Jersey Transportation Authority, under Bart Mueller, who's the executive director there, which is the Atlantic City Expressway, has expressed a great interest in doing this. So we are going to work with them. I'm going to work very closely with the executive director there, and we're going to spearhead this thing to see how, when, and where we can do it. They have so much more flexibility than the Department of Transportation. They have more resources and ability to get this done. We're going to really work on it.
We just have a minute left, but I want to talk about another roadway leading into Cape May County. That's the Garden State Parkway. What's happening with the lights that are south of exit 11?
Yep, and you know there's improvements being made all along the Garden State Parkway, a lot of widening farther up. One of the real pariahs in the parkway has been the 3 traffic lights that exist on the parkway in the most southern part of it. Only place on the entire parkway, 176 miles of it from beginning to end, that they have those lights. I'm sad to say that every single year people get hurt. Almost every year people pass away. Those lights are going to be removed. We've finally got a commitment. We've worked on it hard. It's almost a $100 million project. The end of next year, the construction should begin.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We've been talking with Senator Jeff Van Drew. I'm Jill Horner.